Good morning, dear students. Welcome to your social science class. So students, as you all know, we are doing the chapter Understanding Our Criminal Justice System from your civics textbook. So students, in the last class we discussed about two of the important key players, that is the public prosecutor and the judge. We all know that there are four key players, right? So we have discussed about the key players. So today at the beginning we will try to recall about the four key players and their importance. After that we will move to today's topic. So today's topic is free trial, the importance of a free and fair trial. All right. So students, after discussing about the concept of free trial and its importance, that is, at the end of today's class, you all will be in a position to point out the importance of a free and fair trial which is held in the court. You will be able to explain why is a fair trial so much of importance. But before that, students, let us recall the four key players which are very much important in the criminal justice system. So the first key player is the police. So the role of the police starts the moment FIR is filed in the police station, and it is the police who writes the FIR. Okay, it includes all the details about the crime which took place. Based on the FIR, the police conducts the investigation. Okay, and after that the police may file a charge sheet if the police thinks that the accused person is guilty. Okay. Next comes the public prosecutor. So public prosecutor is the lawyer who represents the state, that is the victim. And we already know why the victim side is considered as the state's side. This is because any offense which takes place against the victim, it is believed to have been committed not just against the victim but against the entire society. That is why it is considered as a public wrong or a public offense. So the public prosecutor fights the case on behalf of the victim or the party who has filed the FIR. Okay. Next comes the defense lawyer. So students, defense lawyer is the lawyer who takes the side of the accused person. There has to be someone to fight the case on behalf of the accused person as well, isn't it? So for the accused person to have his rights, he is also provided with a lawyer, that is known as the defense lawyer. Okay. And last but not the least, judge. So judge, we all know, is the umpire in the court who takes all the decisions, who makes all the rules, all the laws, and after going through all the testimonies, after going through all the evidences and hearing the statements of the witnesses, the judge takes the ultimate decision. All right. So these are the four key players. Students, coming to today's topic, what is fair trial? Before understanding the meaning of fair trial, we should first understand what a trial is. So students, in simple words, trial means all the proceedings which take place in the court. Okay. We all know the role of the police. So the role of the police, it ends the moment the charge sheet is filed by the police. Okay. And after that, the role of the public prosecutor and the defense lawyer starts. And based on the evidences and facts which are presented by the public prosecutor and the defense lawyer, the judge gives the ultimate decision. So all these things which take place inside the court, it is known as trial. Okay, all the proceedings, everything that happens inside the courtroom is a trial. Okay. Now what is fair trial? Fair means something which is fair to both the parties, which is impartial, right? So a fair trial is a trial which does not favor any particular party. So a trial which gives equal importance to both the parties, that is known as fair trial. All right. So Article 21 of our Constitution, it guarantees us the right to life. This is something which we all know. So this article, it states that a person's life or liberty can be taken away only by following a reasonable and just legal procedure. It means that students, when trials are held in the court, okay, and the judge gives the decision. For example, the accused person is decided as guilty and the judge gave him a particular punishment. For example, he was given lifetime imprisonment. So in that case, his freedom or his liberty has been taken away, right? So such things can happen only by following a reasonable and a just means fair legal procedure. That means someone's life or someone's liberty cannot be taken away just by following some unfair rules and regulations. So the judge needs to be very much fair in taking his decisions. Okay, someone cannot be hanged to death just like that. Okay, the judge needs to act impartially. The defense lawyer, public prosecutor, everyone needs to act impartially. Even the police also needs to act impartially in a fair manner. Only then, if the accused is proven guilty, his life or liberty can be taken away. Otherwise, it should not be done. Okay? So students, only a fair trial ensures that our Article 21 of the Constitution is fulfilled or is upheld. Okay? So if the trial which is held in the courtroom is partial towards one particular party, or if the trial is not giving equal importance to both the parties, we cannot say that it is a fair trial. So only if the trial is a fair one, our Article 21 is fulfilled. Okay? So this is the concept of fair trial. Now students, in the case of Shanti, let us find out whether the trial was fair or not. Okay? So students, when the police started investigating about the incident, and the police assumed that Shanti was the one who had stolen the gold chain. So when the police filed a charge sheet in the court, a copy of the charge sheet was given to Shanti also, so that she can know what are the evidences that the police has collected against her. Okay, what are the evidences, who are the witnesses that the police are going to present against her. So it is Shanti's right to know about all of these. So a copy of the charge sheet was given to the accused person as well. Okay. Second point, the trial which was held, it was held in an open court. That means it was done in a public domain. It was open to public viewing. Other people can also come to the courtroom and watch the trial. Therefore, Shanti's brother Sushil also had a chance of going to the court and seeing what was actually happening there. Okay, everything is to be done in an open court so that the judge cannot take any unfair decision. It will be open to public view. Okay. Third point, the trial was held in the presence of the accused. When the trial was held, when the defense lawyer and the public prosecutor presented the materials and gave their side of the story, the accused person was present. Everything was done in the presence of the accused. Okay. Next point, Shanti was defended by a lawyer. It's not that only the victim was given a lawyer. Shanti also had a lawyer to defend her. Her point of view, her side of the story was presented by the defense lawyer. She was also given a chance to prove her innocence. Next point, Shanti's lawyer, who was Advocate Roy, was given an opportunity to cross-examine all the prosecution witnesses. So students, cross-examine means we all know that Shanti's lawyer was the defense lawyer and Mrs. Shinde's lawyer was the public prosecutor. So cross-examine means both the parties' lawyers can question the other party. Shanti's lawyer can question Mrs. Shinde. Mrs. Shinde's lawyer can question Shanti. This is cross-examining. Okay. So in this particular incident, Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, was given the opportunity to question Mrs. Shinde, that is the prosecution witness. Okay. So everyone was given a fair chance. Next point, Advocate Roy was given an opportunity to present all the witnesses, all the evidences in Shanti's defense. She was also given the opportunity to prove Shanti's innocence to the fullest level possible. Okay. So students, although the police filed a case of theft against Shanti, the judge assumed her to be innocent. So the judge did not act blindly just because the police already assumed that Shanti was the person who was actually guilty. The judge did not base its decision on the police. The judge went through all the materials and gave the decision based on the evidences, not based on the police's point of view. Okay. So students, it was the responsibility of the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Shanti was guilty. So the role of the public prosecutor was to prove Shanti guilty, but the public prosecutor failed to do so. Okay, so in the entire trial which was held, Shanti was proven as innocent. Okay, next point. It is also significant that the judge decided the matter only on the basis of the evidences which were presented before the court, not on the basis of any other criteria. The judge was totally fair and impartial. The judge went through the testimonies of both the parties and gave a fair decision. Okay. The judge did not jump into any conclusion that Shanti was the thief just because she was a poor maidservant. People have this notion that if someone is poor, if someone is a servant, they have a tendency to steal things. So the judge did not jump into any such conclusions. Okay. And students, instead the judge remained impartial, and since the evidences showed that some young man and not Shanti was the thief, he set Shanti free. So in fact there was Inspector Sharma who on behalf of Shanti gave the statement in the court that a gang of young men was caught and the gold chain was obtained from them. So based on all these evidences, the judge gave the decision. Okay. So students, in Shanti's case, justice was finally done to her because she was given a fair trial. So all these things proves that the case of Shanti, or the trial which took place in Shanti's case, it was a fair trial because everything was done in a fair manner. Okay, the judge was not impartial to any party. The proceedings which are held in the court was also not impartial to any party. Okay, so the judge did full justice to his role and responsibility, and everyone did fair justice. Okay. So students, to conclude, we can say that our constitution and the law that we have both state that all of the persons that we have discussed in this chapter, that means all the 4 key players, should carry out their roles in a proper manner. Everyone has this duty and responsibility to act in an impartial manner. Okay, no one can act in an unfair or partial manner. Okay, everyone needs to work to ensure that all the citizens, irrespective of their sex, their gender, their caste or religious background or any other thing, everyone has a chance to get a free and a fair trial when they are accused. Just because someone is accused, we should not assume that the accused person is guilty. Sometimes they may not be guilty, isn't it? So the rule of law, which says that everyone is equal before law, would make sense only if every citizen is guaranteed a free trial by the constitution. Okay, so the rule of law, which means that everyone is equal before the eye of law, will be upheld only when every citizen will have a free trial when they are accused for some criminal offense. Okay, so this is the importance of a free and a fair trial. Now coming to the keywords of today's class, the first is the cross-examine. Cross-examine means both the parties' lawyers can question the opposite party. Okay, prosecution means the prosecution lawyer, the public prosecutor, and advocates. So students, these are your homework questions. Question number 1. All of the processes which are written in bold in page number 74 are crucial to a fair trial. Now you need to write in your own words what you understand of the following processes based on the above description of Shanti's case. What is an open court according to you? What according to you is the basis of evidence? Okay. And number C, what according to you is cross-examination of prosecution witnesses? Okay. Question number 2. Discuss in your own words what might have happened in Shanti's case if the following procedures had not been observed. If Shanti was not defended by a lawyer, what would have happened? If the court had not assumed her to be innocent, what would have happened? You need to write it in your own words. Okay? The last question. Now let us return to the story of Shanti and answer the following questions. When Shanti was arrested for theft, S.I. Rao also kept her brother Sushil in the police lockup for 2 days. So was it fair or was it legal for the police to detain him? Or does it violate the DK Basu guidelines? You need to write. Okay? First thing you need to write whether it was legal or whether it was fair to put Shanti's brother Sushil under the lockup. And second thing you have to write, does it violate the DK Basu guidelines? Okay? Now coming to question number B. Did S.I. Rao do enough to question the witnesses and collect or compile the evidences before arresting Shanti and filing a case against her? Okay? So you need to write whether do you think S.I. Rao fulfilled his role in a judicial manner, in a proper way, or he could have done something more to prove Shanti's innocence or to gather actual and real evidence. And students, keeping in view the duties of the police as stated above, what else do you think S.I. Rao could have done as part of his investigation? Is there anything which he missed out or he should have done but he did not do it? So you have to write that. Okay? So students, these are your homework questions for today's class, and this is the end of this lesson. Okay, we have already come to the end of this chapter. So this chapter is basically about the entire justice system, criminal justice system. So at the beginning we discussed about the 4 key players through the story of Shanti, and then we discussed about fair trial. Okay, so students, if in case you have any doubt, do let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, thank you so much. See you all in the next class.